was one for the ages.
Yeah, I was teasing her before the game, and I said, you got to forget about it. It's over. How do you do that? How do you forget about a 50-point night, a big win over a highly ranked team in your sectional? But you got to go forward. We got a big game here tonight, an opponent that has beaten us early in the season, and we need a little bit of revenge here tonight. So we need another one of those nights out of Soph and out of Aaron and out of Abby and out of Morgan and all of them.
You and I were regrettably unable to be here last night, which was kind of heartbreaking to some degree. I would have loved to have been on the call for that game. And, I watched the film. I know you watched the film. And, Jeff, what struck me the most was the way she scored. And when you think of Sophie, you think of three-pointers and jump shots flying in from all over the place. She scored from all over the floor last night. She only had 3 threes. She was 15 of 15 from the line with 3 clutch free throws to force overtime.
Yeah, and, I've had the luxury of working Sophie out for the last couple of years. And, I told her before, everything was in the flow of the game. Nothing was forced. She was getting backdoor. She was getting some good passes from her teammates. They were looking for her when she got the hot hand. She went to the foul line, and it's been a joke because when we work out, she shoots foul shots when she's tired. And she misses them. She says, I hate foul shots. and I kept telling her, but they're so important, and there's going to come a time when you're going to have to make some in a clutch situation, and you're going to be tired, and you're going to have to step up there and knock them down. And, boy, last night was a perfect situation, and she stepped up and got it done. So congratulations to her, all-time leading scorer in Ripley Lady Viking basketball history, and got a big win. So just so happy for her.
Unfortunately, a lot of the history of Lady Viking basketball had been destroyed a few years ago, so we aren't 100% sure if that is a single game record. I gotta believe it is, Jeff. That's hard to believe that someone scored more than that.
I've watched Lady Viking basketball, as you well know, for many, many years, and nobody's came close to that for sure. I know that my daughter had a 30-some point game down in Beckley one year, but I don't remember a 40. I don't remember, even anything close to 50.
50 points in a 32-minute game. You do the math. I mean, she had all but 6 of the Lady Viking points in regulation in the second half.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, we scored 70. Thank goodness for the other girls scoring those other 20
right.
To get that win. But phenomenal. It's just unheard of. You look in the score books, you look in the newspapers, you look on the TV and the news media. I don't see a lot of girls teams scoring 50, period, in games. So it was big.
Let's look at that win, Jeff, and what that does. They were 0-1 in the section prior to that. They had lost to this same Winfield team down at Winfield. Actually, they were 0-2. They lost to Nitro down there as well. They had to win that game last night. It was a super important game to win. They got it. Fast forward here to tonight. This game probably has as much weight on it tonight as it did last night. And they got to do it on short rest, coming off of a very emotional victory.
Yeah, this is huge tonight. Brian, you're exactly right. They needed that one last night. And, we were up 7-8 points late in that game, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be really nice. Extended it to double digits in the third period, and then all of a sudden Nitro comes storming back. They cut it to 2. They steal the inbound pass. They make it tie the game up. Then we kind of willed it a little bit. They had a 3-point lead. They had a 2-point lead, went to the foul line and went 1 for 2 before Sophie got fouled on a 3-point attempt and knocked down the free throws. Only about 10 seconds left. We held them off from scoring on their last possession. It goes to overtime, and we end up winning the game. So, talk about peaks and valleys within a basketball game. And our girls were extremely exhausted playing the minutes that they did, and they hung in there together. They, just a phenomenal win. I just can't – it's hard to explain, but go back and watch the Mountaintop Media broadcast replay. It's fun to watch.
You look at tonight's matchup, you can't expect Sophie, obviously, to go for 50 tonight. You're going to have a more balanced attack offensively. But when I look at this Winfield roster, Jeff, and when I look at Winfield previously against these same Lady Vikings, they're more equipped to defend Sophie. You have Sayer, you have Johnson, you have some really athletic girls that can get out there on the perimeter and really make her uncomfortable out there, try to get her off of her spots where she feels comfortable. It's going to be a challenge tonight for the Lady Vikings. I feel like Aaron Ryan's going to have to step up and probably be 15, 20-point scorer tonight. Maybe Abby Eastman has a big night tonight on that high screen and roll. Feels like you're going to have 4 Lady Vikings in double figures to win this game tonight.
Oh, they're going to have to share the basketball, that's for sure, because you know that Winfield is going to come out and say, we got to stop 33. If somebody's going to beat us, it's going to be somebody else. So that means our young ladies are going to have to step up. Need a big game out of Abby Eastman. Need a big game, as you said, out of Aaron Ryan. Morgan Shanklin's got to do what she does, and Addie has to step up Morrison and provide the spark on the defensive end. She's an exceptional rebounder for as small as she is out there on the court, but she can knock down a few shots too if they leave her open. We need that here tonight. This is a huge game for the Lady Vikings as far as sectionals go.
Somehow we won that game last night without the services of Aaron Ryan for most of the fourth period. She fouled out. She's got to stay on the floor tonight.
Yeah, and what that did, it forced Sophie and Addie to have to bring the ball up against pressure. And fortunately, Sophie was able to break the pressure and continue to dribble and penetrate and get through the defense and get to the rim, quite a few times. I was really surprised that they didn't come off of her. They did double team her the last possession when they fouled her. They kind of got in each other's way, and she drew that foul. But, yeah, with Aaron being out, that really changes the flow. But we've got a couple young ladies that can come off the bench and help us also, and they did just that last night.
You look at this team, Jeff, and we've documented the struggles in the early going, losing some games maybe they probably wouldn't. The offense not really flowing like we thought it might from time to time. What does a performance like last night and then a possible similar performance tonight as a team do for this team as they move toward February and they inch closer to sectional play?
Well, I'll just say this, Brian. They kind of really lost their confidence a little bit. They lost their swagger. I mean, they were getting down on themselves. They were losing some games that I know they thought they should win. But the state of West Virginia, those who rank them, whether it's AP, whether it's coaches, they were still respecting them. They know what they could do. They were still slotting them at 8th in AAA. And last night you saw that team. We saw that team against Logan. So, there are nights when we come out and we're like, wow, there's that state tournament team that we had last year. So we'll see what happens. But this game tonight, I just hope we've got our legs under us. I hope, that we forget about the big victory last night and come back down to earth and play some basketball.
Where do they find the consistency necessary to get to the next level to find themselves at the Civic Center in March? Does it start on the defensive end for this club?
It definitely does, and it's going to boil down to our senior leadership. I mean, they're going to have to purpose within themselves that they're going to do everything they can to get there. You talk to people and you say you only got so many high school basketball games to play. Well, their margin is really dwindling. It's getting shorter and shorter, and I hope they realize that and the urgency, not only in the regular season, but when it gets into tournament play, that they got to play with because it could be over in one game.
You look at this, I was thinking about today, this group of young ladies that came over here from Spencer. Mm-hmm. Where would we be right now without those 3 girls?
Well, I don't know where the scoring would come from, to be honest with you. And I don't want to look ahead to next year. They got some kids coming in that can play, but where's the scoring going to be next year? I mean, they have been dependent on Sophie and Aaron and Abby for the most part to get the majority of the points for this team, and they're going along with Morgan. So somebody's going to have to step up. Somebody's going to have to put the work in the off season to be prepared because you got Nitro, you got this Winfield team, you've got Logan. They've got a bunch of their players back next year with good experience that are going to be seniors, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Jeff, if you're Sophie tonight, and I know you've probably talked to her, how are you looking to get into the flow of this game? Because you got to be very careful. Every day's different. Every game's different. You don't want to come out and try to pick up right where you left off about 18 hours ago, right? It's a different game. So you kind of, like you said, nothing was forced last night. Kind of have the same mindset here tonight.
I told her the same thing. I said, you played in the flow of the game. Everything became easy because of that. They were really overplaying her. She went back door, got some easy buckets, got rolling. As you said, she wasn't bombing threes last night. She was getting to the foul line because of her penetration. That's the game she's got to play each and every night. And I was kind of teasing her. I said, where's that been? You could have done that 2 or 3 times, right, if you just played it. No, I was just teasing her. But seriously, she's just got to forget it. It's a different game, as you said. They've got to come out. We'll play team basketball. If the shots are there, she's going to take them. If Aaron's got shots, they're going. But the thing is, we're going to win this game on the defensive end, Brian. I don't think the offense is going to do it. I think that it's going to be one on the defensive end.
All right, Jeff, we'll step out. When we return, we'll find out if we can do just that. When we return, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip, Lady Vikings and the Lady Generals here from the Health Center. You've been listening to the WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital Countdown to Tip-Off right here on C98. The Bull.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Health Center on the campus of Ripley High School for tonight's game. No, we weren't going to do that yet. For tonight's game is the Winfield Generals
and your Ripley Lady Vikings. First, the starting lineups for the Winfield Generals. Number 3, Antonella Johnson. Number 4, Gabby Canterbury. Number 15, Caitlin Sayer. Number 22, Brooklyn Cole. And number 25, Ashley Johnson. And now the starting lineups for your Ripley Lady Vikings. Wearing number 2, a senior, Morgan Shanklin. Wearing number 4, a junior, Addie Morrison. Wearing number 12, a senior, Abby Eastman. Wearing number 15, a senior, Aaron Ryan. And wearing number 33, a senior, Sophie Nichols.
All right, starting lineups from Phil Iman. Thank you for the wonderful introduction as always. As the Lady Vikings out on the floor, and it's the starting five that we've grown quite accustomed to. The same five that played literally nearly the entire game last night, Jeff, other than Aaron Ryan fouling out. So legs are going to be an issue here tonight. They've got to fight through that fatigue.
Yeah, those young ladies throughout the season, including last night, have logged a lot of minutes in those uniforms representing the Ripley High School Lady Vikings, and they've been a pleasure over the years to watch, and hopefully there's a few more games in our future with these young ladies. But tonight, you said it, Brian, big task in hand, trying to revenge the loss against the Winfield Lady Generals. Very well coached basketball team. Sarah has been here for 15 years, hasn't she? That young lady's a nice player too.
Boy, was a handful for us to deal with last year. So Brooklyn Cole will jump it against Abby Eastman at center court. They will be moving. The Generals control that tip. They'll be moving from our left to right from our broadcast position. Center court here at the Health Center. Sayer with it now, right of the circle, picks up her dribble, forces it down on the block to Cole. Actually at the high post, excuse me. And there is what I want to refer to the heart and soul of this team, Aaron Ryan, with the tie-up.
Ripley came out in that man-to-man, switching outside on every screen. And here comes the pressure that Winfield got us with down there. See if we can look ahead and get some easy ones.
Nice look ahead. Abby had a path to the basket, tried to maybe a little too unselfish that time. Ball deflected out of bounds. So Aaron Ryan will inbound it left of her own basket. Nice pass. Good seal off from Eastman. She was fouled, I believe, Jeff. No call.
Yeah, tough no call. They did everything right that time, got the wide open look.
Not often you can hear the slap with the headphones on, but we could hear it that time. So a break for the Lady Generals, and they'll come back, try to break the seal on this one. Still scoreless in the early going. Ball deflected by Sophie out of bounds, and they're going to say stays with the Lady Generals.
Yeah, good defense thus far by the Lady Vikings in this man-to-man.
Johnson will trigger it in the near sideline. Trouble getting it in. Gets it in just in time to Ashley Johnson. Hands it back to Antonella, back to Ashley. And there's a good steal from Addie Morrison.
Great job by Addie. And she does those things. You don't see it in the scorebook, but that young lady has really stepped her game up throughout the season.
Bring the ball down. Our two little guards will absolutely do their best to dig it out. Up and under, and Sophie nearly with an and one. A good pass from the ever-smiling Morgan Shanklin. There'll be two shots for Sophie.
Good ball movement by the Lady Vikings. Winfield very aggressive on the defensive end, trying to pressure the Vikings into some turnovers, and they were right there.
Ashley Johnson picks up her first, team's first, and Sophie barely touched the net. It was such a pretty shot. First one up and in, second one on the way. She actually caught a little bit of the back part of the rim that time, but two makes for Sophie.
Our goal was to swish every one. If you're a little short, you still go in. If it's a little long, it still goes in.
That's right. So Sayer with it, top circle. Here's the turnover. Addie Morrison with the steal in transition. Right-hand layup won't go. Sayer clears the rebound. Missed opportunity there for the Lady Vikings. 2-0, they lead it.
Great defensive play by Morrison. Just couldn't, as you said, get the layup to go down, and Winfield is going to take a shot, miss it, and out of bounds to the Lady Vikings.
Baseline jumper by Canterbury.
Here comes the pressure, and look, Brian, they got 4 of their 5 beyond the half-court line in the backcourt of the Vikings.
Morrison cross court to Aaron Ryan, and she's going to be fouled by Sayer. And that's a big foul because that is someone they do not want to have to take off the floor here tonight, Caitlin Sayer.
No, those cheap ones like that come in handy, and Lady Vikings still going to have to be aggressive. You break the press to try to score, and I think they were looking forward to trying to do that.
6:10 to go here in the first quarter. 2-0 Lady Vikings. Ball deflected by Canterbury into the hands of Nichols. She drives it, reversing it out to Morrison. Now, here's Aaron Ryan with a three. It won't go. And Addie nearly tracks it down. Can't quite get there in time.
A good looking shot there by Aaron. She had a good look at it. Those are the ones that if she gets hot on those, that she can really break a defense down.
Very sluggish start here for both teams. Sayer with it, guarded by Shanklin. Tries the back cut. Sophie deflects it out of bounds. Actually, Sophie and Aaron Ryan both there.
Lady Vikings being very aggressive also. They're switching on the high screens. Anything inside, though, they're really guarding them tight. And they attempted a backdoor cut that time, but Sophie was there to tip it away.
Here's Sayer will inbound it under her own basket. Trouble getting it in. Gets it into Antonella Johnson. Baseline drive. Nice pass underneath to Sayer. She lays it up and in, and she's going to the line for an and one.
Got caught watching that time. Good inbounds play. They got penetration down the baseline, which made us come over and help. We didn't rotate quick enough, and Sarah made us pay.
Abby Eastman picks up her first personal foul. It's team's first as well.
We
Sayer
really need a big
rattles it
game out of Abby here tonight.
3-2 as Sayer rattles it home. First lead of the night for the Generals, and the ball deflected out of bounds.
Got to fake a pass to make a pass. We said that since probably Midget League they've heard that. Trying to throw it through the passing lane.
Can't float lazy passes through those pressing defense. Here's a good pass from Sayer, but a better play.
Then turns it right back over.
Here's a three in the corner. Sophie got it.
And a turnover, the steal by Morrison created that wide open look for Sophie in the corner.
Lady Vikings back out on top. Sophie with all 5 of the Lady Viking points. 5-3 they lead it. Stolen by Addie Morrison. 2 consecutive steals for her. Here's Ryan. Pull up. Free throw line. Rolls it in transition. Lady Vikings with 5 straight here to take a 4-point lead.
Erin had her head on a swivel. She was looking to the wing. Sophie was guarded. She pulled up. Solid feet. Feet in the paint. Got it to go.
Here's Canterbury. There's Morrison. Nearly another steal. Nearly dug out by Aaron Ryan. Antonella Johnson saves it. Drives through the traffic. Floater up and in. Great play through traffic for Antonella Johnson. 7-5 Lady Vikings lead it.
Just got to look ahead.
Another steal. Turnover there. Lazy with the basketball. Johnson comes out of there with the steal. Now she's looking for more. A 2-point Lady Viking lead. Chance to tie it or grab a lead with a 3 here for the Generals. Here's Sayer all the way to the basket, and that's the charge. Sophie steps in there to take it, and that's 2 fouls.
On Sayer?
On Caitlin Sayer.
That's big. That is really big. She's the glue for this Winfield General team. Let's see if Coach is going to pull the trigger. He's going to leave her on the floor. I don't know if he realizes the scorekeeper let him know there was 2 fouls.
Ashley Johnson out. And Emery Nelson in. And there's another deflection. Well, I tell you what, Jeff, something about Winfield, they always have very long, lean athletes, and they really play the passing lanes well.
Yeah, we got to find the open places. We can't stand around on this.
Morgan, nice pass ahead, and a beautiful pass to Eastman. She lays it up and in, gives Sophie the assist.
And right there, we'll break that press, and right there, we'll get them out of that press. That's moving the ball without bouncing it. Great job.
You get the ball in the middle of the floor against a press, right? And then you just destroy it, and that's what they did there.
Yeah, everything's angles.
Here is Sayer, wild shot. It won't go. Rebounded by Aaron Ryan. Here come the Lady Vikings. Morrison travels with it. Head of steam, couldn't get stopped in time.
Yeah, and you know, that's the one thing, and I noticed this last night. You got a 4-point lead against a good team. You want to get shots. So just slow yourself down. Let's get into our offensive set. It wasn't there, so just pull it back out. Don't get in a hurry.
So Caitlin Sayer will finally come out, and Ashley Johnson back in for her. Drive from Canterbury, and there's going to be a reach foul.
That's going to be a second foul on Abby, and that's just a breakdown in the defensive set. They got screened out high, didn't get the switch, didn't move our feet.
That's a break, as they call it, on Addie Morrison. Her first.
Yeah, it's a break.
Team's second. Canterbury steps up, makes the first. 9-6 your score with 3:24 to go here in the first quarter. Canterbury's second one, up and in.
Odd free throw shooting regimen, but knocks them both down, steps up into the shot.
There's Aaron walking across the timeline up the far side. Handed off to Morrison, top circle. Now left wing to Shanklin. Back to Eastman. Bounce pass to Ryan. She'll drive it. Ball deflected, stolen by Johnson.
And again, the Lady Vikings with the turnovers, keeping Winfield right here in striking distance.
Canterbury swings it to Nelson. She'll shoot the three. No good. Rebounded by Cole, and a tie-up. It'll stay with the Lady Generals.
Air ball that time, and you know, we talked about it. Addie Morrison is really good at following those. Most boys or girls aren't real good. They're looking at the rim, and the ball will fall right beside of them.
30-second timeout by the Viking bench, and we'll look at some of these stats. Jeff will keep it here, but only 6 shots on the rim so far here in the first quarter for the Lady Vikings. They're 3 of 6, shooting the ball pretty well. They have 4 turnovers. They only have 6 shots on the rim, and they have 4 turnovers. So the pace of this game lends itself to the fact that you better take care of the basketball and you better take advantage of your opportunities, because if it stays like this, you're going to have limited opportunities to score tonight.
Yeah, and Winfield, as we talked about, very aggressive on the defensive end. And sometimes, Brian, you just got to go ISO with that pick and roll game, a 2-man game on one side. To clear the floor, we kind of get in each other's way sometimes and make it easy to defend.
Inbounds to Cole. Here's Johnson, top circle, guarded by Sophie. Looking for space. Barking out signals. Nice spin move into the paint, passing it out to Ashley Johnson. Her baseline jumper won't go. Nelson rebounds it, and Abby Eastman will tie it up, and it'll be Lady Viking basketball.
Good job that time. They got the offensive board, which was not a good job, but then Abby comes down there and really clamped down on that ball to get the turnover.
9-7 Lady Viking lead. Under 2.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Ryan, cross court to Eastman, now back to Morrison, back to Ryan, left wing. Now to Eastman in the paint, reversing it back out to Morrison. Now Ryan, left of the circle, too strong. Rebounded by Canterbury.
We're really rushing the shots. You know, we got more time, I think, than they think sometimes when they're open.
Good ball movement, though. I will say that. They were making the defense move. Maybe one more pass would have got an open shot that time. Here's Canterbury. 1:52 to go, first quarter. Across the top of the circle, off to Nelson. Left-hand dribble looking for space, and she forgot to dribble. Turnover on the Lady General.
And the Vikings, with 1:46 to go here in the first period, leading 9-7, Brian. We got to get some shot opportunities, make some buckets here. Try to pull away here. We've had great opportunities, just can't get the ball to go down.
Ryan into the front court, off to Sophie, left wing. Guarded by Nelson. Across the top of the circle, off to Morrison. Morrison turns it over. Stolen by Canterbury.
And I don't think Coach Kennedy really wants our offense to run through Addie Morrison on that side. Aaron Ryan was wide open on the other side. We got to look. You get into a pattern in practice and in games of running the same thing over and over again, and it's not always the same. You got to read through the defense and look for the open shooter.
Antonella Johnson called for the extra step there in transition. They'll turn it back over. Lady Vikings with it. Trying to force one down the block, and it's going to be stolen by Cole. They come in transition. Nelson, shot blocked by Sophie. Rebounded by Johnson. Wow, great play by Sophie Nichols. She had a couple of blocks last night as well, Jeff.
They're just running that little weave out there. Yeah, it was a good defensive play by Sophie, but their offense is conducive to that right there. They just keep moving and weaving, and when you switch, sometimes you get caught underneath and leave the three-point shooter wide open.
Antonella Johnson, we see what she's able to do, and she buries a three right in the face of the Lady Viking defense. She's been doing that for a few years against the Lady Vikes. Here's Aaron Ryan from the free throw line, too strong. Eastman battles for the rebound, and Jeff, I think she's going to be called for her second personal.
And Brian, if you look out on the floor, and we're trying to run an offense, and we're getting good looks, but Sophie's got a player that comes up to her shoulder. Now, I know she doesn't like to just plant herself in the post, but they can't guard her in there if she gets the right position, drop steps, and puts it up. And, you know, eventually we're going to have to go to that if we can't start knocking down some shots.
Eastman out, Jilly Butler in. And Winfield a chance to pad this lead here. Nice back cut from Nelson, layup. About 3 trips around the rim before it drops in, and it's 12-9. Lady Vikings 8 seconds. Chance to draw back to within a point or tie it up with a 3.
I don't think we know how much time's on the clock.
Sophie's got to hurry. She's going to take it to the bucket, and they don't get a shot off as time expires. 12-9. Lady Vikings trail it here at the end of the first. We'll return with the second quarter from the Health Center right after this on C98, The Bull. Back to Ripley High School. Second quarter about to begin. 12-9. Lady Vikings trail it, and it was a snail's pace in that first quarter, and you would almost expect Winfield to come in with a lot of energy, Jeff, and really try to wear us out early, knowing what we did last night. But they've been a little sluggish as well, and turnover. Addie Morrison nearly touched that one by accident, but Antonella Johnson throws it away.
And they're just running good cuts and backdoor cuts, and we're switching on everything, but we're not seeing the ball sometimes after we come off, and they're throwing it right behind our ear.
They're well coached, Jeff. I like what they do offensively. I think defensively they have a good plan. Pretty young group, you know, and they've executed well here in the early going. Aaron Ryan, left wing. Guarded by Nelson, cross court in the corner to Shanklin. Now Butler top circle. Over to Nichols. Here's a 3, a deep one. That one's too strong. And Addie Morrison nearly tracks down the rebound but can't come away with it.
And again, the Vikings one and done, not getting any offensive boards, and Winfield quickly getting into their offensive sets.
Here's Canterbury off to Antonella Johnson. Looking for space. You don't want to give her much of it. Left-hand scoop shot, good.
She's too good off the bounce for us to switch. We just got to stay with her, assign somebody to her and stay in front of her because she's an athlete.
Speaking of athletes, here's one popping off the Lady Viking bench. She will check in. That's Kendall Butler, youngster on this Lady Viking bench, but boy, she is an athlete. And here is Nichols weaving through traffic. Morrison to Ryan in the corner for 3, short. Rebounded by Ashley Johnson. We're getting good looks, just can't connect.
Yeah, Aaron's really struggling from the perimeters. Unlike her, when she gets her feet set, she's pretty accurate.
Here's Canterbury. Top circle, though, reset, slow things down a bit. 14-9, they lead it. And a travel. Unforced. Go back toward the Lady Vikings as Kendall Butler will check in for Jilly Butler.
Yeah, and you said it. What an athlete she is. When she finally gets her skill set to go along with her athleticism, watch out.
Yeah, she's potentially could be a really, really good one. Morgan Shanklin didn't roll with that one, and she was fooled a little bit by Aaron Ryan.
Winfield really moves the basketball and looks for one another.
Not a lot of ball stoppers in that lineup, and a beautiful pass in traffic to Cole, and she lays it up and in. What a pass from Antonella Johnson. And it's a 7-point lead for the Generals.
And right now, the Vikings have not found an answer for Johnson. She's going wherever she wants to off the bounce, creating and finding wide open shooters.
We appear to have hit a wall here offensively for the Lady Vikings. Here's Ryan driving it back out to Morrison, back to Ryan, head fake. All the way to the basket, left-hand scoop shot, no good, rebounded by Cole.
And the long minutes from the last, from this week actually, are really catching up. Good block by Sophie.
What a block by Sophie, rebounded by Morrison. Second block of the game for Sophie. Long three in transition, too strong, rebounded by Cole.
We're hoping now. Those are hope shots. You come down, you know, and you think you got to get something going. We got to get back in this thing. You just got to climb your way back in one shot at a time.
Antonella Johnson, ball deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Lady Generals.
And really it starts one stop at a time on the defensive end, Brian.
You have to get one. It feels like it's been 4 or 5 trips since we've gotten a stop.
And we haven't had any.
I don't credit it a stop if it's an unforced turnover.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten any easy shots. We're not in transition. We're not getting up down the floor. We're not pushing. And we're just not getting it out of our offensive set so far.
Trouble getting it in for Nelson. She gets it into Canterbury. Back to Nelson. She nearly was on the end line when Canterbury returned it to her. But Johnson has it now right of the circle. Looking for space. Hands it off to Canterbury. The switch from Aaron Ryan defensively. Now a screen from Cole, and that's a moving screen, I believe.
That's going to be on Cole, is that?
Yep, moving screen on Brooklyn Cole, her first, team's first here in the second quarter. 4:33 to go here in the half. Still 16-9. Lady Vikings scoreless so far here in the second.
Winfield just extending that man-to-man, and Sophie's got to go backdoor on that.
Here's Ryan penetrating into the paint, back out to Shanklin, long two, off the mark, and Cole high for the rebound.
Back tip that time by Morrison. She is really a phenom.
Here's Sophie in transition, a lot of contact, nothing called. Here come the Generals with numbers. Johnson all the way to the basket, shot won't go. Rebounded by Ryan. Run out for Sophie. Up and under, lays it up and in.
And that almost didn't get up over the rim. Her legs are tired. You can tell. We saw it on a three-point shot. Just not getting the elevation that she usually does.
16-11. We don't need 50 out of you tonight, Sophie. No. We probably need 25. No pressure, right? Here's Cole. Nice spin move. What a finish by Brooklyn Cole. 18-11.
And Morgan Shanklin went down on that screen, got a knee into her thigh, and she's
might be the only time she's not smiling. And we have a jump ball, and it'll stay with the Lady Vikings. Don't let the smile fool you. She's going to get in there and battle.
Eastman back into the ball game, placing Butler for the Vikings.
Good minutes from Kendall Butler. Sayer back into the ball game as well. Here's Shanklin, elbow jumper, up and in.
Good foul shot there by Morgan. Get us back to within 5.
There's a shot up, no good. Rebounded by Aaron Ryan.
Here come the Lady Vikings, and they're going to lose it out of bounds.
Just can't get out of our own way here this evening.
Yeah, as good as it was last night as far as in the flow of the game, moving without the ball, all those different things. We look like we're in quicksand a little bit here tonight.
18-13. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Here's Nelson. A lot of minutes off the bench here in this second quarter. Here's Johnson. Shot
Another
blocked
block
again by Sophie. This one rebounded by Ashley Johnson. And here's a baseline shot up and in by Nelson.
And those 50-50 balls, second and third shot opportunities, we've seen it time and time again, Brian, lead to buckets for the team that gets those.
20-16 the score. 2:20 to go here in the first half. Nice behind-the-back dribble. Sophie's going to be bailed out with a foul. Never foul a jump shooter, right, Jeff?
Nope. And I like the officiating as far as protecting the jump shooter. A lot of times those won't be called.
maybe getting to the line will get Sophie going. She's 2 for 2 here tonight. And make it 3 for 3. She has 8 points as Cole will check back in and for Ashley Johnson.
And the Lady Vikings just got to stem the tide here right now. You can tell we're fatigued. But if we can stay close, get through this, and get our second wind in the second half, get our legs under us a little bit.
Sophie makes both. 20-15 your score. Canterbury walks again. Travel pulls the pivot foot. Youngster, she's learning a little bit here tonight, but she's going to be a good point guard for them.
And a timeout for the Vikings.
Full timeout by the Viking bench. We'll take one as well. 20-15. The Generals lead it here at the Health Center. We'll be back. More Lady Viking hoops after this, right here on C98 The Bull. Ahead of the Generals, 16-15 at the end of one. So the young Vikes trying to take care of business down at Winfield tonight.
Was this their last? Are they nearing the end of their season, and some of the kids move up to junior varsity level and get some more games in?
Heard some rumblings. I'm not sure if that's true or not. We shall see, as you know, I'll be there for most of those. Here's Aaron Ryan across the court to Morrison. Now the free throw line to Eastman. Back to Ryan for 3 straight away off the mark. Shanklin with the rebound and loses it to Cole.
Almost stole it back, but Johnson comes out there with it. And our legs, you can just see on our outside jump shots, the lift is just not there. We're clanging them off the back of the backboard. That's a walk.
Turns it over as she loses the handle and then tracks it down, but I think she was on the end line or she traveled. Not sure what the call there was, but it is a turnover nonetheless.
Could have been either, I think, Brian. But again, they're turning the ball over enough for us to either be a little closer or ahead in this ball game. We just haven't taken advantage of it.
Bucket here would make it a one-possession game. Sophie drives it all the way to the basket, loses the handle. Cole comes out of there with it. Here's Canterbury, has her pocket picked by Morrison. Here comes Aaron Ryan in transition. Looking for somewhere to get it off to Morrison. Now back to Ryan in the corner. She'll shoot a 3. Got it. There, Aaron Ryan, big shot for her, and it's a 2-point ball game.
And maybe that'll get us going as good ball movement that time as Addie Morrison found Aaron in the corner, and she had a General running at her. She kept her aim, kept her form, and drilled that 3.
High arcing 3. As you said, over the outstretched hand of the defender. I think it might have been Brooklyn Cole. Johnson picks up her dribble, nowhere to go with it. And
another
she's turnover. Turn it over.
Good play by Morrison again. She's been a thief out there tonight.
She's growing up right in front of our eyes, Jeff, playing some pretty good basketball.
And she's a youngin' that she can get in the gym and really perfect her offensive skills. She could be a really nice player in the future.
Pretty good with the basketball, Jeff. She get into the paint with her. She's got a pretty tight dribble, so gives her the ability to get into traffic and still be able to control the basketball.
Lady Vikings in a little bit of a delay game and throw it away.
Wow.
Very careless with the basketball here tonight. I don't know how many turnovers we have, but it's been too many, and most of them haven't been forced.
I'll give you a guess.
Double digits.
11. You are correct. Here's Antonella Johnson, hands it off to Sayer. She's been playing with 2 fouls for a couple of minutes. Nelson surveying, driving to the basket, shot blocked, and a jump ball stays with the Lady Generals.
Good job underneath. They're going to save.
Stays with the Lady Vikings. Okay.
I didn't think. 8 seconds. We got to go.
Here's Sophie looking for space. 1 second. She'll shoot a tough one and just short as time expires here in the first half. 20-18, Lady Vikings trail it. We'll return with the Johnson Insurance Agency halftime report after this, right here on C98, The Bull.
Contested basketball game last night that went into overtime and have to come back here tonight. Winfield didn't, and we're still, forcing some turnovers on Winfield. We're still only a 2-point basketball game here at the half, and we talk about it on the break. We just are really, really lethargic. You can tell that we've put a lot of minutes in, and a very little recovery time, Brian. And if you've never done it, you don't understand it. I mean, it's not easy. It's not practice out there. It's a game.
Even when you're 17, 18 years old, it still takes a toll on you.
Sure does. And, last night not only was a very intense up-and-down game, it was physical. And that takes your toll, a toll on the young ladies also. And so hopefully we can, we weathered the storm. We got through it. We didn't play good, and I think that's what Coach Kennedy can say at halftime. Guys, we really looked like we were just kind of going through the motions in the first half, and we're 2 points down. So, we get going a little bit. Let's get some energy on the offensive end. Let's see what we can do and pull away from this Winfield General team.
Lady Vikings have 9 steals in the first half. 7 of those from Addie Morrison. She has 1 shot, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 7 steals.
And the thing about it is, Brian, and what you want to hope to get is points off turnovers, and that's where we've been lacking. We haven't been able to get points off the turnovers to the point where we can, kind of separate ourselves from them in this game. And we had a lot of opportunities there early and just couldn't finish. So, if we can continue to do that, if we can continue to turn them over and maybe get some easy buckets, get a little energy going. Last night there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of high-fiving. There was a lot of slapping. I mean, they knew that they needed that ball game, and they went out and gave everything they could to accomplish that.
Caitlin Sayer played the majority of that second quarter with 2 fouls, rather, Jeff. Feels like I'm going to go at her to start this third period to try to get her off the floor. She's a difference maker, and she hasn't been able to do much tonight. She's got 3 points because she's been saddled with foul trouble early on in the ballgame.
Yeah, and we know she's a good player, and that really we didn't take advantage of her not being on the floor, and one of the reasons is because Johnson. She picked up the slack offensively. She's really got some nice moves off the bounce. She can get to the rim. She can finish. And she keeps her head up and is able to drop a dime in there from time to time and get an easy shot for her teammates.
How do we get going, Jeff? Sophie with 9, Aaron with 5, Abby with 2, Morgan with 2. Something's got to give offensively. We've missed a lot of open shots. I feel like we've moved the ball fairly well. Is it the fact that we haven't gotten into the paint enough, that we're settling for too many jump shots? What is it that might get us going here in the second half?
Yeah, I think we've gotten in our own way a little bit, Brian. Even when we try to take someone off the bounce, we're not clearing and giving them space to operate. We're kind of bringing another defender to help. We're not getting any backdoor cuts like we did last night. And the inside game is non-existent so far. We've got to get Abby going a little bit. She will help not only in the scoring column, but getting them in some foul trouble if they have to guard her. We just got to get some clean looks in there and not turn the ball over so much.
Both teams starting to make their way back out onto the floor, and I'd like to see the Lady Vikings get out here and get going. Get a good sweat going, get moving around a little bit, maybe get some of that energy going, because you said it, it's been a sleepwalking session in the first half.
And because of that, the crowd, which is a pretty good Viking crowd here, hasn't been able to get into this game and create a little more energy for the Lady Vikings. So let's see if when we come out, we got a little more zip in our step and can get things going, as you said, get a little lather going to get started. And kind of get ahead in this game.
If I'm John Kennedy, I'm telling my team we feel pretty good, even considering how slow and poorly we played in that first half, to only be down a bucket. And if I'm Winfield, scratching my head a little bit thinking, wow, we should probably have a double-digit lead right now.
And probably they should have. They've had a bunch of turnovers thanks to Addie Morrison and her thievery out there with the steals. We haven't really, they've got second shot opportunities. They haven't been able to score it. So here come the Lady Vikes, and you can tell they come out looking like they're a little tired here tonight.
Rightfully so, Jeff. As we will step out, we'll return second half action from the Health Center. Lady Vikings trail the Lady Generals 20-18. We'll have more Lady Viking hoops after this on C98 The Bull. back to Ripley High School. We're about ready to begin the second half, and it was a lackadaisical warm-up, like it was a lackadaisical first half. Both teams really. Winfield has even kind of, I don't know when they played last, Jeff, but they don't really appear to have a lot of energy tonight either, and I'm not sure if maybe our energy's wearing off on them or both teams just bring that same low level of energy into the game tonight.
Yeah, and you would think after them reading the box score from last night, what the Lady Vikings did, 70 points against a very good Nitro basketball team. Of course, it was an extra 4 minutes, but even at that, you know, we're sitting at 18 right now. So
they got anyway.
had a little miscue there. We thought it should have been Winfield ball on the last inbounds that the Vikings got in the first half, and I think both scorekeepers had it that way. And the officials missed it. The clock was even right, pointing the arrow toward Winfield, and so now they're trying to correct those errors.
One of the officials took some exception to something that might have been said. Words were exchanged. And we're going to play basketball now, I assume, as Canterbury has it. Off to Ashley Johnson, back to Canterbury. Elevator screen for Antonella Johnson. Good, defended well by the Lady Vikings.
Not a lot of ball movement right now by Winfield as they were doing that cutting offense, and right now a lot of standing around.
There's Sayer with it. Hands it off to Canterbury. Off to Antonella Johnson, left of the circle. Looking for space. Defended well by Sophie. Nice little screen and roll there by Cole, and a nice give and go to Ashley Johnson, and she's got an and one.
She just posted up on the much smaller Addie Morrison, and just got in so deep that all Addie could do was foul her if she was going to try to defend her, and she makes the bucket.
The play was well designed, Jeff. They got what they wanted as the free throws up and in, and it's a 5-point general lead.
No pressure by Winfield, just in the half-court man-to-man.
Lady Vikings back down by a couple possessions. Here's Sophie, passes on a three. She'll shoot a floater, maybe got away with the travel, and Ashley Johnson clears the rebound.
Way out of sync are the Lady Vikings here tonight offensively.
Here's Canterbury. She'll bring it back out between the circles. They better figure it out quickly, because a couple of baskets here in Winfield could put some space between the Lady Vikings and put a lot of pressure on a team that's struggling offensively here tonight.
Yeah, it's defensively, we're not doing anything right now to really force them to go anywhere but where they want to go.
Here's Sayer. Puts her head down, drives to the basket, loses it out of bounds, but I think it's going to be deflected by Addie Morrison. We'll stay with the Generals. 6:36 to go here in the third, 23-18. Generals lead it. Canterbury will inbound it under her own basket off to the right of the lane. And a timeout. 30-second timeout by the Winfield bench. And I thought they were going to call 5 seconds. I thought that was a quick whistle, but they got the timeout just in time.
And, you know, Brian, again, and I hate to keep harping on it, but we just act like, okay, we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. We beat Nitro, you know, and just not a whole lot of energy being shown out there by the Lady Vikings, even as they come over for the huddle.
What would get it going? Maybe a couple of threes in transition, maybe a couple of steals. What do you think gets that energy going? It seems like Coach has used all the timeouts he can use to try to stem the tide a little bit, get him going, and nothing seemed to have worked to this point.
Yeah, and it's got to happen on the defensive end. I mean, we're down 23-18, and the only way to get back into it is get stops and then go down and score. So let's see if the defensive end, there's a turnover right there.
Good play, Sophie deflects it. Aaron Ryan comes out with it. She's going to go end to end, shot up, no foul call, and it's going to be off the Lady Vikings. A ton of contact, nothing called.
But again, you're dribbling right into two defenders. and you just make a great play on the other end and just take it a little bit too deep. But in her defense, nobody was running with her.
No, she could have pulled up that little 8-footer, which she's very good at, and nearly picks the pocket of Canterbury. And here comes the defense of our lead guard, Erin Ryan, and she's all over Canterbury. She gets it into the hands of Antonella Johnson, and the Lady Vikings are going to foul her. And Antonella's going to the line with a chance to make it a 7-point game. That's 3 on Addie Morrison. It's 2 here in the quarter on Lady Vikings.
John Kennedy, Coach Kennedy is saying, Addie, that's 3, no more. No more reaching. We got to have her on the floor.
Antonella misses the free throw, which
I think Canterbury,
unusual.
As you said, you got to pressure her and see if we can get her to turn the ball over a few times. She's going to be a dandy little player. We've seen her, and she's got some skills out there, but the pressure has gotten to her a little bit here tonight.
I think that's what you might see a little more of here in the second half out of Erin Ryan. It's a 6-point Winfield lead. Here's Sophie. She cuts it in half with a 3 in the corner.
And that was screen the screener. She just came back off of it and found herself wide open.
She has 12, 24, 21. Here's Sayer, baseline drive floater, too strong, rebounded by Sophie. She's going to be fouled, as that will be the first team foul here in the third quarter on the Generals.
Maybe that 3 and maybe the couple defensive stops that the Lady Vikings have gotten here in the third period will get them motivated a little bit, energized.
It's Antonella's first personal. Here's Eastman, cross court to Morrison, left wing. Here's Ryan, top circle. Nice pass down the block to Morgan, and she's going to be fouled. I'll say that ball sailed on her. No way does Morgan miss one that bad unless someone's hanging on her arm.
No, she got caught right across the arm, and she was trying to get a great pass inside to Morgan, and she was going to finish that without the foul.
Foul on Cole, and Morgan rolls the first one across the front of the rim and in, and it is a 2-point game. She has 3 points here tonight.
Lady Vikes crawling their way right back into this thing.
Second one, up and in. 4 for Morgan, and it's a 1-point game. The Lady Vikings fell down by 6 early on here in the third, and they're on a 5-0 run. Sayer gets a screen, switch off defensively with Sophie. Now Cole has it, looking to get it to Antonella Johnson, handoff. It's a screen from Ashley Johnson, now left wing to Canterbury. She'll dribble it back out between the circles, and they'll reset.
Got to get out and pressure her a little bit, but we got to have the right players on her. Now we switched up.
Good defense by Erin Ryan. Pass off to Ashley Johnson, and Sophie's going to be whistled for the foul.
Yeah, and that was no, that was not.
Tough call.
She got lost on the defensive end. She tried to recover, and that wasn't much there.
Ashley Johnson to the line, makes the first. 25-23.
You know, when the Lady Vikings are switching on everything, if they're not talking and somebody gets hung up, it's a layup.
Yep.
And Winfield is looking for that cutter off that screen.
Ashley Johnson makes both. She has 5, and it is a 3-point Winfield lead, 26-23. Erin Ryan gets the defender in the air. Nice no-look pass to Abby, and she can't hang on to it. Luckily for the Lady Vikings, it was off for one of the legs of the General.
And you said it, Brian, what a pass. She threaded the needle, and I don't think Abby thought she could get that ball there.
I wasn't sure she could get it there. We had a great angle of it, and it was a fantastic pass from the senior point guard. Sophie to Erin, head and shoulders fake, drives it off to Morgan, long 2, got it, Morgan Shanklin.
Shanklin stepping up here big for the Lady Vikings in the second half as we pull back within 1 once again.
Good defense there by Eastman. Canterbury, long 3, won't go. And it's going to be dug out by Morgan Shanklin, and here comes Erin Ryan. Lady Vikes with a chance to grab the lead. Sophie, hesitation all the way to the basket. Scoop shot, up and in, and they call a charge.
Oh, that's a horrible call. My goodness, she was going away from the bucket. There was no angle there.
That's 2 on Sophie. And what wipes away
Wow.
a
Coach Kennedy.
what would have been an and 1. 26-25, the Generals hang on to the lead. Good play, Sophie steals it. From the Lady Vikes back the other way in transition, long 3.
Whoa.
And she's hit, no foul called, and Cole gets the rebound, and Aaron Ryan ties her up.
Yeah, the foul out front, talked about protecting the shooter. They ran at Sophie on the 3. She ended up on her tail, and
Wow. Remember that sequence, Jeff.
Yeah, that was
an important sequence. Out of the ball game, Nelson in for the Generals. Sayer out. Here's Ryan.
Short.
3 in the corner, no good. Rebounded by Ashley Johnson, 26-25.
Lady
1
Vikings
point
having
game.
trouble getting matched up again.
Here's Cole with it, guarded by Eastman. Down on the block to Johnson, and she'll miss the easiest shot she probably has had all season long. Vikings lucky there. She won't miss many of those. Sophie drives
My
it.
goodness.
Back out to Ryan. She'll drive it. Nice little scoop. Can't get it to go. Abby controls the rebound. Contact won't go. She's going to the line. There was 3 or 4 fouls not called on that one, but Abby did a great job keeping it alive.
I like it when they let them play, but you.
To some degree, yes.
Yeah, I mean, good job by Abby Eastman there, sticking with it, getting the rebound, putting it back up.
Abby to the line, and it's up and in. We're tied up as the official badgering Sophie about tucking her shirt in.
Well, the coach is in his ear over here, and they don't enforce that.
To me, that's one of the worst things to worry about.
But don't look now. The
Lady
Vikings
Vikes lead it.
That's right.
You're diving all over the floor, and you're worried about keeping your shirt tucked in. I mean, to me, that's a little nitpicky. And Sophie with the steal. Fantastic play. Here she comes in transition. Left-hand scoop shot won't go. Eastman rebounds it. Back up and in.
Sophie got hammered again, and, sometimes when you got a player like that, they don't get all those calls. And I don't understand. It just depends on where you're at, I guess.
29-26 the score. Down on the block they go. Cole, she was fouled. She put it up and in, no call.
She sure was.
29-28. Here's Aaron Ryan into the paint. Off to Morgan. Baseline. Nice pass to Abby at the free throw line. Banks it in.
Banks open in Ripley tonight.
What a pass. What a finish from Eastman. She has 6. 31-28. Lady Vikings lead it.
And have you seen the Lady Vikings starting to pick it up a little bit, Brian? And it started on the offense or the defensive end. I'm sorry. There was another miss.
Lady Vikings fortunate. A couple of close misses from Antonella Johnson. Uncharacteristic from her. So the Lady Vikes have a chance to make it a 2-possession game here, leading by 3. Top circle to Eastman, now to Morrison, left wing. Back out to Ryan. Throw it away.
And another unforced turnover.
Here's Canterbury in transition. She finishes. It's a 1-point game. Timeout, Winfield. Full timeout with 1:27 to go here in the third.
It's got to take care of the basketball.
We'll step out as well. We'll return. More Lady Viking hoops after this. Right here on C98, The Bull.
Dutch Miller.
Lady Vikings lead it here in the latter moments of the third period, a 13-10 quarter. Best scoring output so far by quarter here tonight. Only 9 in the previous 2 quarters for the Lady Vikings, 13 so far here with 1:27 to go in the third.
Yeah, and it's been a lot better, especially the last couple minutes, Brian, as far as the energy the Lady Vikings have shown on both ends of the floor. Just don't need to force anything on the offensive end. Winfield will get tired of playing that man-to-man, and now some substitutes for the Generals, and looks like they're going to go zone.
Try to get some rest here, a little extended time for their starters. Sophie, nice pass to Eastman, and the ball's deflected out of bounds. Good defensive play there by Ashley Johnson.
And Abby's just got to find that opening when we get penetration, go to where they're not as they try to recover, and she'll find herself wide open.
Here's a shot from Sophie, in and out. Man, that ball was down in the cylinder and popped out on the baseline, rebounded by Ashley Johnson. Wide open near corner 3 from
and she
Savannah
comes off
Winland.
the bench.
And it's a 2-point Winfield lead. Shanklin back to Sophie. Long 3 off the mark. Rebounded by Cole. Here come the Lady Generals with an opportunity to add to this lead. And they can hold for the final shot if they so choose. 33-31, they lead it. Winland brings it back across the top of the circle, and Morgan Shanklin's going to be called for the bump. It'll be her first, team's 5th.
There
So free
you
throws.
put them in the bonus. 20 feet away from the bucket. I know Morgan knows that new player in the game, trying to take advantage, get a turnover. But she just bombed a 3. Let's see if she can make the free throws.
In and out on the first free throw.
Lady Vikings have to box out. The Winfield's very aggressive.
If she misses this one, then Morgan can say, I knew what I was doing, see?
Yeah.
We get the basketball back. See, there you go. She misses that one, and Abby Eastman clears the rebound. See, Morgan knew what to do.
Great foul. She's a smart player.
Absolute smart player, no question. Here's Aaron Ryan, right wing. Time running out here in the third. Sophie with it. Looking for space, 13 seconds. Aaron fires a 3 from deep. She buries it. Back in the lead, Lady Vikings, 5 seconds. Here comes Canterbury. Off to Winland, 3, near corner. Got it! Savannah Winland. 36-34, 6 quick points off the bench for Savannah Winland. Puts the Lady Generals back out in top as we end the third period. We'll return with the fourth quarter after this, right here on C98, The Bull. To Ripley High School, and Coach John Kennedy was looking at his assistant coach, Scotty Allman, saying, I didn't see Savannah Winland on the scouting report tonight. She just came off the bench and absolutely lit their offense on fire with a couple of corner 3s. Nobody in her face. I think you'll see some defense on her moving forward.
Yeah, I was jokingly said as we went to break, she's not making her coach look very good by planting her on the bench.
Right.
And then
she's going to make a play for some more playing time here as
Sophie's
Canterbury.
face guarding her now.
That's what happens. Here's a take from Nelson, in and out. Aaron Ryan with the rebound.
Boy, that was
A lot of
big
contact
miss.
on that one as well, Joe. Not called.
Back Winfield back to the man-to-man.
Ryan hands it
Nope.
off to Morrison.
I'm wrong. They're still in that zone, but they're face guarding out there on Sophie.
Aaron fires one, misses it. Head to Nelson. Here's Canterbury, corner three, got it. Same play, Jeff. They're chewing us up on that same play. The Lady Vikings cannot seem to defend that near corner, and just like that, it's a 5-point game. Coach Kennedy takes a 30-second timeout to try to clean things up.
Well, here's what happens. You know, we're exerting energy on the offensive end, and we're resting on the defensive end, and you can't do that because that's 3 3-pointers that we've given up here. We could have a 4-point lead if we just get out and guard, but you're leaving them wide open, and they're making us pay. Well, give Winfield credit as they have been able to knock down those threes in clutch situations.
Been just a couple of adjustments, and they're getting it in transition a lot as well, Jeff, as a lot of times in transition you get scrambled. It's easy to lose who you're guarding, and that's happened at least in that particular instance with Canterbury.
So the Lady Vikings, plenty of time on the clock. They trail by 5. They've got to get the offense going. This zone has kind of stifled us.
They had some energy, and they had a little bit of spurt. Can they get it back? Morrison in the corner. Out to Aaron, top circle. Cut off by Canterbury. Gets to Eastman at the free throw line. Turns, tripped, no call. Ryan, 3 straight away, off the mark. And Morgan nearly tracks it down, but can't quite get there.
And the legs, we're losing our legs here late in this ball game. Shots tough to come by. And a zone, they're just extending it and making us shoot some long shots.
Unforced turnover as Brooklyn Cole was not looking. Canterbury threw it off of her back, and it's turnover Winfield. So a gift there for the Lady Vikings. They get the ball to Eastman at the high post. She had all kinds of room to work. I'd like to see him try to force that a little bit.
And we are not, the short corner against this is wide open. And when they come and rotate, then the middle's wide open.
Here's Sophie. She'll drive it baseline, and it's knocked out of bounds by Cole. Explain the short corner, Jeff, for those who listening and don't really understand exactly.
Well, they're extending their 2-3 zone, and they got 3 on the baseline. But if you're at the block and just go back to the baseline, they got to adjust. And if they drop, the middle's wide open. If they don't, you got to lay up a drop step.
There's the short corner. Baseline jumper won't go. Rebounded by Ashley Johnson. They have a chance to make this a little more difficult on the Lady Vikings with a bucket here, but they don't seem to be in a hurry. Lady Vikings are going to trap it, and Nelson gets away with a travel. Now here's Wendland for 3. Goodness gracious. Straight away, she is on fire. 42-34. 9 points off the bench for Savannah Willard, excuse me.
And, Brian, you scratch your head and you say, how are they getting open and we can't? There's another steal.
Lady Vikings turn it over. Here's Willard in transition, and a foul is going to be called on Morgan Shanklin. This one's slipping away, Jeff.
Yeah, you know, we're lack of energy out there right now, and it's really showing on the defensive end. What got us back into this game and actually got us the lead was the energy we were showing on the defensive end and turning them over and getting back on the offensive end.
Here's a 3 off the mark. Nelson can't get it to go. Throw ahead from Ryan. Here's Sophie in transition. Got it. Back to a 5-point game. That was a big bucket.
Great outlet pass by Aaron Ryan, and Sophie found herself open at the 3-point line and was able to drill it.
Sophie with 15. Here's Willard with it. Cross court. That was a stealable pass. Lady Vikings
very much
couldn't get to it.
Running a little 1-2-2 with Sophie out on the point, trying to use her length to make them throw it over. We just got to play the next pass, and there it was
Aaron
again.
Ryan knocked it out of the hands of Abby Eastman, who had the steal.
You bait them into throwing that, and you drop right in that passing lane. Actually had Aaron and Abby both right there.
42-37, 5:03 to go in this one. Here's Cole. Off to Willard. Do not give her any space. She has 9 points off the bench, all in 3-point buckets. 3 for 3. Here's Canterbury. Back across the top of the circle, guarded by Addie Morrison. And a timeout as Canterbury nearly called for the 5-second call to be a 30-second timeout.
And Winfield looking a little fatigued there as the timeout was called. So pressure by the Lady Vikings, maybe wearing on the Generals too, but we've got to create some turnovers down 5 here, Brian.
Here's the bad news, Jeff. They've been able to do this with Antonella Johnson and Caitlin Sayer on the bench as they've extended this lead thanks in big part to Savannah Willard.
And that's what I was going to say with Willard. You can't take her out. I mean, I can see taking her out at the 2-minute mark, you know, to get those starters back in, especially to get some strength on the boards with Sayer. But right now, you got to let them go.
Kind of hope he takes her out. She has been the difference so far. There's the inbound. Johnson. Now Willard with it across the top of the circle. Picks up her dribble, nowhere to go with it. Morgan defending her tightly. Now Eastman draped all over Canterbury. Picks up her dribble. Canterbury nowhere to go with it. Back to Willard. Willard off to Canterbury. Little runner in the paint, won't go. Gets her own rebound. Or excuse me, Willard gets the rebound, and Abby Eastman is going to be called for her 3rd personal.
It's going to be the 2nd team foul on the Lady Vikings here in the quarter. None on Winfield. And Winfield is, you know, moving the basketball, making the Lady Vikes expend some energy here on the defensive end.
They've given us a few opportunities to get a steal, and Morgan nearly obliges there. She'll get a deflection, but it was into the hands of Willard. A stop and a bucket would make things interesting here if you're the Vikings. Here's Willard. Ball's loose. Aaron Ryan keeps it alive. Picked up by Sophie.
Got
one! Earmark that moment, Jeff. Aaron Ryan bats it loose, keeps it alive. Sophie scoops it, scores, draws the foul.
And the hustle by Aaron Ryan. Not only did she knock the ball loose, but her diving and keeping that thing alive so Sophie could snatch it up and get down there and get to the hoop. Great play by Ryan.
Antonella Johnson back in. Sophie was 17. And it's a 1-possession game, Jeff. 42-40. Lady Vikings not going away.
And that's the defensive end. The Lady Vikings cannot rest down here on the defensive end with 3:55 to go in this game.
There's Canterbury. Back to Antonella Johnson. I'm really shocked we haven't seen Caitlin Sayer back in the ballgame.
Johnson back in for her ball handling ability. She walked.
She was going to turn around and reverse the basketball back to one of her teammates who had vacated the spot she thought they were in, and give it back to the Lady Vikings, a chance to tie it up, maybe grab a lead with a 3.
Winfield back in that man-to-man. Nope.
Sophie double-teamed, nowhere to go with it. Flips it out to Aaron.
We're playing a little matchup here.
Aaron at the elbow, back out to Morgan.
Especially with their back 3. The back 3 are staying back for help. The guards are out there switching and overplaying.
Morrison over to Ryan, now to Shanklin, now to Eastman, elbow jumper.
Got it.
Great offense, great pass from Morgan Shanklin, Abby Eastman with 10, and we're tied. 8-0 run out of the Lady Vikings to tie it up. Just under 3 minutes to go in the ball game. Here's Willard, get a hand in her face. She has been on fire. She's going to nearly turn it over. Antonella Johnson comes out of there with it, and then Aaron Ryan kicks it into the front row. Deflection. It'll stay with the Lady Generals, 2:48 to go.
I thought Addie was going to grab another one there and maybe get us a run out.
Here's Johnson. She will inbound it under her own basket. Defended well by the Lady Vikes. Here's Canterbury, backside, gets it up and in.
And overplay, and when you miss and you take that risk, you leave somebody open on the backside, and she took advantage of it.
44-42, Shanklin left wing. Back to Abby, top circle.
Got to penetrate.
Morrison. Now to Ryan, left wing, guarded by Johnson. Down to Abby at the elbow, turns, fires, and it's deflected out of bounds by Johnson.
She just got to take that thing up, fake it, and go right to the basket, make them foul you or go finish it.
Aaron Ryan will inbound it under her own basket into Sophie. Foul line jumper, got it. That's easy money right there for 33. She has 20. We're tied at 44.
And once again, the Lady Vikings on the defensive end have got to step up.
Here's Antonella Johnson across the top of the circle. Willard, three. She finally misses one, and maybe a foul. I don't know. Morgan got her hand in there. No call.
And the Lady Vikes with 1:57 to go. Was tie ball game, Brian. Here we go on the offensive end. Winfield still extending that 2-3 zone.
Here's Sophie, right wing. She'll get a screen. Screen and roll was there, and a great play by Cole. Here comes Canterbury in transition, a foul.
They're going to call her for carrying a basketball.
Ooh, wow.
That's a tough call.
We don't see that very often.
Being pressured, being bumped a little bit, and the Lady Vikes get one.
Break again for the Lady Vikings. We're still tied at 44. 95 seconds remaining in regulation. Do we have back-to-back overtime games here? Coach Kennedy hopes not. Leg-weary team. Here's Abby in the paint and a late traveling call.
Turn, look, then go. She put her head down. She ran right into Cole in that post and shuffled her feet.
So turnovers, one right after the other, piling up here for both teams. Canterbury, right wing, elevator screen for Johnson. She gets a three, too strong. Rebounded by Aaron Ryan. Come the Lady Vikes. Lady Vikes have numbers all the way to the basket. Abby is tied up under the hoop, and it'll stay with the Lady Vikings. That's an instance where Aaron should have just
take it
straight to the basket.
Yep, you're right.
A little too unselfish right there.
Abby really didn't have anywhere to go with it, even if she caught it.
Didn't have much of an angle. Pass to Morrison off the inbounds.
Tough pass there.
Do you hold for the final shot, Jeff, as we dip under a minute remaining? Tied up. Shanklin, left wing to Sophie. Out to Aaron. 50 seconds.
Might just want to back it out here if they're going to stay in that zone. Just back it out and hold it.
Nichols. Back to Ryan. Canterbury, a lot of contact out there. Back to Sophie, 35 seconds. She'll drive it, passes off to Eastman.
Got it.
In. Abby Eastman rolls it in from 10 feet. Lady Vikings lead it. 46-44, 22 seconds.
Can't give up a three here. They're going to call a timeout.
Winfield's going to take a timeout with 20.9 to go in the ball game.
What a ball game. Great penetration by Soph as she got her feet in the paint. They rolled toward her. She found Abby, and Abby finished the deal with the short jumper in the lane.
What we've been asking for. She has 12. Sophie with 20. Aaron with 8. Morgan with 6 so far in this ball game. And they have just fought, Jeff. And it's not been a thing of beauty, but they have battled and battled and battled, giving themselves a chance. They could have folded down 8 earlier on in this quarter. They just kept fighting. Here they are with a 2-point lead. They got to defend the three-point line. You feel like a lethargic game where neither team has played all that well. You feel like Winfield's probably going to try to go for the win and not play for overtime.
Yeah, the Lady Vikings have gutted their way to this 2-point advantage here with 20 seconds to go in the game. I'm sure they're drawing up something. You know, they got 2 girls out there in Canterbury and Johnson who can beat you off the bounce, but you can't let them beat you, draw help, and kick it out to a hot 3-point shooter. So got to really D up. I like not guarding the inbounder and trying to slough off and help.
20.9 to go. Johnson will inbound it on the far sideline. Inbound it to Ashley Johnson. Back to Antonella. They're looking for 3, Jeff. They're trying to set up a play for Willard. Here comes Johnson, drives to the bucket. 2, rolls it up and in. We're tied, 8 seconds. Here comes Sophie in transition, 6 seconds. And Coach gets a timeout with 5.4 to go.
Got to look up the floor. Winfield was not going to let 33 get by in the open court. So let's see what Coach Kennedy can draw up. Winfield did a good job. I just had a hunch that it was going to go to Johnson or Canterbury to try to penetrate and get something. And we broke down on the defensive end, allowed her to get by off the bounce, and there was no help down there.
They were trying to force it in this corner to Willard. And the Lady Vikes defended it well, and Antonella Johnson, credit to that young lady. She realized it. She was up against the clock. She turns, left-hand dribble, left-hand finish in traffic, tie ball game.
And, Brian, we got to go score it because they foul us. If they're smart, they foul immediately on the inbound because they're not even close to the bonus.
Absolutely.
So we got to throw it down inside there and try to get something going toward the basket. Looks like they're going to try to post Sophie up. Let's see what happens.
So Aaron Ryan will inbound it just to our right here in front of the scorer's table.
See if we can get a screen.
5.4 to go.
Double screen for Sophie. They play it very well.
She's got room. She'll shoot a floater off the back iron, gets her own rebound. Put back, won't go. Wow, 2 shots at it. And we're going to play extra quarter here at the Health Center. We'll step out 46-46 at the end of regulation. Overtime coming at you after this, right here on T98, The Bolt. Start the overtime session. Lady Vikings with a steal. Now they have an opportunity to break the seal on overtime here if they can get a bucket. 46-46 your score, 3:20 to go in the overtime session. Ball deflected out of bounds.
That's
off
a good
of Addie
call.
Morrison. Yep, good play.
I don't
Good
know
play
what
by
the
Brooklyn
lady.
Cole.
Yeah, I don't know what we were running there. Sophie was standing out 18 feet from the basket, setting a screen, and Aaron then took our ball handlers right out of the game. Minute has went by.
Canterbury, wide open three, rolls it across the front of the rim. Wow, big shot, 49-46. Team that scores first in overtime typically wins, Jeff. So can the Lady Vikings buck that trend here tonight?
Again, we got 2 people wide open on the baseline as they're extending that 2-3. Right there it is.
Abby, head fake. She had a drive, passed it out to Sophie in the corner. Ball deflected. Willard out of there with the steal. Here's Canterbury, run out, 5-point lead.
And I don't know what we are running on the offensive end, but they're in a zone, and I don't know if we've recognized it.
Full timeout by the Vikings. Will take one as well. 51-46, 2:28 to go here in the overtime period. More Viking basketball after this. C98, the Bull. To the Health Center on the campus of Ripley High School, 51-46. Lady Vikings in some trouble. Good start here to the overtime period by the Lady Generals.
Yeah, and we just haven't recognized how they've extended that 2-3 zone. The short corner's wide open. We got Abby now at the top of the key. You got to slip somebody in behind that defense. They're going to overplay Sophie at the 3-point line.
Here's Ryan with it. Lady Vikes need a bucket here in a bad way. Addie Morrison guarded by Canterbury. Nowhere to go. Off to Aaron Ryan. And a turnover. Great play by Brooklyn Cole. And great hustle from Aaron Ryan. She nearly comes away with the steal.
And then again, another turnover as the Vikings. Offensively, I'm trying to figure out what we're trying to do there.
Leg weary maybe. Just not executing. Not sure what the situation might be, but we're making some passes we don't normally make. We're not moving like we typically do, like we were at the end of regulation.
And they don't need to attempt a shot, and they're going to get a wide open layup.
And they're running away from us here in the overtime period as we go under 2 minutes to go.
They've went zone and shut us completely down here in this overtime. We're man-to-man, and we're giving up easy shots.
We've got to pick up the pace a bit, trailing by 7. Here's Sophie. And a tie-up is going to be called. And she's frustrated.
Yeah, you're dribbling into a zone. You got to pass the ball, move, screen to screener, go short corner, do something. But you can't just dribble out against this. They're going to overextend it.
There's Morrison off to Ryan. We've got to get a bucket quickly. We can't play with the basketball too long. Morrison turns at our kick. Thought Brooklyn Cole may have had another steal.
And you got Aaron with the ball over on the wing. You got Sophie standing over on this wing. The middle's wide open and nobody's flashing. And you can't make that pass. They're going to pick it off and go the other way with it.
53-49. Lady Vikes need a bucket in a bad way, and they turn it over. Antonella Johnson with a big steal, and here's Willard back to Antonella, and Lady Vikings are going to have to foul Jeff. And she dribbles through the defense, floats it up and in, and that may be
we're getting shut out.
The nail in the coffin here as they lead it by 9 with 1:08 to go in the overtime period. Another timeout. 30-second timeout, I believe. Nope, full timeout by the Lady Viking bench. Will step out as well. 55-46. Lady Vikings trail with 1:08 to go. Vikings in some trouble. 1 minute remaining in the ball game. Trail by 9. They need points fast. And Sophie misses a 3, and it's rebounded by Johnson, and that could be it. I think they needed one to go there. Willard, baseline jumper, inexplicably misses one. Not sure why they shot it so quickly. Keeps the Lady Vikings in it. Sophie in transition for 3. Got it.
Got to get up and guard. Still got a chance.
55-49, and Sophie's going to be whistled for the foul.
The thing of it is, we've got a couple more that we got to give up, Brian, to get them in the bonus, and only 34 seconds left in the ball game.
Another timeout. 55-49 the score in favor of the Lady Generals. We'll keep it here. Full timeout. Just lulls in the game. We've played really well from time to time, and in other moments in the game we kind of fall asleep. Winfield just runs away from us. You think about the 3 threes off the bench from Savannah Willard. You think about the big 3 to start the overtime possession out of Gabrielle Canterbury, and really that's been the difference in this ball game. 55-49.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to kind of separate ourselves, and then Willard comes off the bench and drills those 3-pointers and get them right back in the ball game. We were fortunate, really, to tie it up in regulation, but they fought back. The Lady Vikings did, now trailing by 2 possessions here.
34.3 to go, 55-49. Winfield leads it. And a steal on the inbounds. Lady Vikes still alive. Here's Morrison, lays it up and in.
Got to get another one quickly. And that's the 4th foul on Sophie. So we got to get somebody else up, because if she commits another foul under this pressure, she's gone. You eliminate the 3-point threat.
She has to stay on the floor. Here's inbounds to Johnson and fouled by Eastman. That'll be Abby's 4th as well. So that is 4 team fouls.
4-point ball game.
No, that's 5. So Johnson will go to the line.
So Johnson going to the free throw line, Brian.
Antonella with 14 tonight. Misses the first. Lady Vikes staying alive. This is a huge one. She misses this one. They don't have to go for 3. In and out. Ball's loose. Aaron Ryan and Abby Eastman pull it down.
Got to push.
Here's Morrison to Shanklin. 15 seconds. Ryan drives it off to Eastman. 2-point ball game. Wow.
Got to get another turnover.
Here's Willard. And are they going to call a tie-up or a foul? Morgan Shanklin's going to be called for the personal. That'll be her 3rd.
6 seconds left in this ball game. A 1-possession game, 2-point deficit for the Lady Vikings, partner, and
she's got to make both.
Saw miracles on ice before.
This would be one of them. Willard to the line. Up and in, first one. Big free throw there. She has 10 points off the bench. 3-point game.
This is the biggest. And the thing about it is, if she misses, do we have any timeouts left?
Second one. Off the mark. Rebounded by Brooklyn Cole, and she traveled with it. Not called. Ball's loose in the backcourt, and time is going to expire. And Winfield is going to escape with a 3-point victory over the Lady Vikings, 56-53. We'll step out, we return. WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital post-game report after this on C98 The Bull. Welcome back to the Health Center on the campus of Ripley High School. Heartbreaker here tonight. Lady Vikings, Jeff, they didn't go away. They just weren't able to get over the hump. And credit to the Lady Generals. They had some really great play off the bench. Antonella Johnson stepped up big late in that ball game. And Savannah Willard off the bench knocking down some threes. They did what they had to do to get a win here tonight. Credit to them.
Yeah, winnable ball game for the Lady Vikings. You know, we were kind of worried about this, Brian, coming out of that emotional win last night, and we just didn't have a whole lot of fire coming out. 18 points in the first half. Picked it up in the second half, got back into the ball game, had it tied up, trailed by 2 going into the fourth period. Let it get away from us, went on an 8-0 run there, and got back in that game, ended up tying it up, and then Winfield came out in the first part of the overtime and just blitzkrieged us a little bit, got some easy buckets, got some run-outs off of turnovers, and we fought our way back into it and had an opportunity off the missed free throw to get an additional attempt. We just couldn't corral the rebound and couldn't chase the ball down. Wasn't enough time on the clock as the time expired, and we came up one possession, 3 points short, and a tough sectional opponent lost here tonight for the Lady Vikings.
Jeff, if I told you before the game that we shot 42% from the floor, made 6 threes, 9 of 9 from the line, had 16 steals and 17 assists, you would have thought we would have won the ball game.
Yeah, and you know, you got Abby Eastman into the game. She got into the scoring column with double figures here tonight, and we were looking for that. We knew that she was going to have to step up. Cole's a very long defender inside. She did a good job against her, but we just couldn't get a stop on the defensive end when we needed to, and too many turnovers, especially in crucial situations, Brian, that allowed Winfield to eke out this win. But hats off to the Lady Generals as, you know, they had some players come off the bench, stepped up big for them, and got the win.
We had 20 turnovers. They had 27 turnovers. They got us on the boards, though. I think those kind of things equaled themselves out. They had 27 rebounds, and we had 20. So those two stats kind of equaled themselves out. To me, they were the team that executed better in key moments, especially when the overtime period started. I felt like we had an opportunity at the end of regulation. Sophie gets 2 shot attempts as time expires, one of them point blank. She just simply doesn't miss those shots typically. So just not able to execute in those key moments tonight.
Yeah, how important was that? You know, with our tired legs, if that could have went down at the end of regulation, and we could have got out of here with the 2-point win, but it just didn't happen. Wasn't because of lack of effort from the Lady Vikings. They showed themselves strong. They didn't give up, even when they were down in the overtime, Brian. And it looks like even we thought the door was going to be shut. They kept battling back and gave themselves an opportunity, but these are games against these opponents that you got to win, because we're going to lose home court advantage based on the seedings probably, and the coaches do that, and head-to-head matters as far as the competition goes.
So that'll do it here tonight from the Health Center. Our next broadcast of Viking Hoops will be the boys team will be back in action, Jeff, on Tuesday night down at Sissonville. That'll be an interesting ball game with former Viking Dylan Casto suiting up for the Indians on the other side. So there'll be some emotional moments probably in that ball game.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, Dylan made a decision to transfer down to Sissonville, play for the Indians. And, you know, kids are kids, and the Vikings will be fired up. And, you know,
he's having a good year, too.
He is having a good year, and, you know, nothing against that young man, you know, at all personally. But when we go down there in blue and white, we're going to try to get a victory. And if he stands in the way of the victory, we're going to try to go through him and get just that. But he'll be ready to go also.
No doubt. We definitely miss him in the blue and white. But that'll be an interesting ball game on Tuesday night. Be with us as the WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital countdown to tip-off will begin at 7. That game's slated to tip off at 7:30. We say thank you to all of our sponsors of Viking basketball all season long on C98 The Bowl. Special thanks to Rick Shannon, our station manager, and for Linda and AJ Knuckles back at Viking Control for all of their hard work. For Jeff Waybread, I'm Brian Johnson. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much for listening. Good night. God bless.